In this lecture, I would like to discuss about X-ray diffraction method for determination or crystal structure of sodium chloride and potassium chloride. So how to determine the crystal structure of sodium chloride and potassium chloride? So with the help of this diffraction method, X-ray diffraction method or XRD technique, we can determine the crystal structure of salts or crystal structure of the crystals. So to determine the structure, we can use here Bragg's X-ray spectrometer. So this is the diagram of Bragg's X-ray spectrometer. It mainly consists of three parts. This is the X-ray bulb which produces X-rays. Now slits are there for monochromatic X-rays. Now second part, it is a circular table where crystal it is placed, and this is a detecting device, or it is also called as a ionization chamber. So X-ray spectrometer consists of three parts. X-ray bulb which produces the X-ray. This is a circular table on which the crystal is placed here, and this is the ionization chamber or detection device where we can detect the current. So X-rays from a suitable source are collimated into a narrow beam by slits S1 and S2 and allowed to fall on a known face of a crystal C mounted on the circular table, which can rotate about a vertical axis. You can see here from this X-ray bulb, the radiations are coming from this X-ray bulb and passing through this slit S1 and S2, and later on it will strike onto this crystal C, this crystal where it is placed on the circular table. Then an arm A rotating about the same axis. You can see here, this is the arm A, which is connected here to the circular table. So it is rotating through the same axis here, rotating through the same axis as the crystal table carries an ionization chamber. The rotating table and the arm both are provided with a circular scales so that the angles through which they are turned can be obtained. The ionization chamber is placed in such a way that the reflected rays from the face of the crystal directly pass into the chamber. You can see here, the X-rays are reflected from this. The crystal is placed here. So you can see there is a specific angle is here. So we will also measure here the angle of reflection. And that reflected X-rays goes through the ionization chamber. In this ionization chamber where electrodes are fitted there, electrometer is there to measure the electric current. Okay. So one electrode it is connected to the positive terminal and other electrode it is connected to the negative terminal. So when the X-rays are entered into this ionization chamber, where this ionization chamber is filled with the SO2 gas. In this ionization chamber, there is a sulfur dioxide gas is taken here. This ionization chamber will consist of a sulfur dioxide gas. So when this reflected X-rays are coming into this ionization chamber, Then the property of the X-ray is that they can ionize the gaseous molecule. So ionization of the sulfur dioxide gaseous molecule will be takes place here, and it will produce as supposed to be the ion pairs like this. The ion pairs are formed here, and the positively charged cation that will goes to the cathode, and negatively charged anion goes to the anode, and in this way current is recorded by this electrometer. Once again, see what is the functioning here. The X-ray bulb produces the X-rays passing through the slit, fall onto the crystal C, which is mounted onto this table where that is connected to this ionization chamber. Now the reflected X-rays are passing through the slit S3 and goes into the ionization chamber, where in the ionization chamber the ionization of the gaseous molecules are takes place and current can be measured. Intensity of the current can be measured here. Okay, the reflected X-rays ionize the sulfur dioxide gas in proportion to their intensity. If the intensity of the X-ray reflected X-ray will be greater, the ionization it is also greater, then the current produced will be greater here. The extent of the ionization and hence the intensity of the reflection can be determined with the help of the electrometer E. Okay, so the crystal table and the chamber, in the figure we have seen that the crystal table where the crystal is placed and the chamber, ionization chamber, are so adjusted that when the crystal rotates through any angle, when that crystal rotates through any angle, the receiving chamber will have to be moved through twice that angle. Suppose that the crystal table rotates 30 degree, then the receiving chamber rotates 60 degree. Okay, hence if the arm containing the ionization chamber is set in this direction, it will receive the reflected beam, whose intensity can be actually measured by the rate of the reflection. Okay, rate of the deflection of the electrometer. Okay, so in this case the glancing angle theta is increased gradually. We can increase the glancing angle theta here, and the intensity of the ionization is recorded here by the electrometer. Okay, the glancing angle theta will be goes on increasing. So you can see this graph of intensity of ionization versus the glancing angle theta. So maximum peaks are obtained here at the x1, x2 and x3. Okay, so theta 1 it is the lower angle where intensity of the radiation will be higher. Theta 2 it is the higher angle, intensity of the radiation will be less here. So in this way, at a different angle of rotation, we can determine the intensity of the ionization. We can determine the intensity of the X-ray here. Okay, and we will get the X-ray spectrum. What is the X-ray spectrum? X-ray spectrum, it is the graph of intensity of the ionization I, which is plotted against the different values of the glancing angle, and the curve obtained in the graph, it is called as a X-ray spectrum. So this is the X-ray spectrum here. Okay, so you can see here for certain values of the intensity of the reflected beam reaches to be maximum, shown by the sharp maxima here. Okay, this is the sharp maxima. Now if the beam of the X-ray it is not homogeneous, then such smaller peaks are also obtained here. In case of the heterogeneous X-ray beam, such smaller peaks where the intensity will be less here, y1, y2, y3, and this x1, x2, x3, that is the intensity of the ionization is greater here. Okay, so in this way, with the help of this X-ray spectrometer, we can determine the intensity of the ionization and corresponding to the angle of rotation. So theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, can be obtained from the graph. Okay, the maxima corresponding to the peak x1, x2 and x3 are considered, and the glancing angle corresponding to them are theta 1, theta 2, theta 3. So in this way we can measure here the glancing angle theta. Okay, so theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3 are the angles of first, second and third order reflection. Theta 1, it is the angle of first order reflection. Theta 2, it is the angle of second order reflection, and theta 3, of course, it is the angle of third order reflection. So knowing the values of n, wavelength of X-ray, lambda and theta, it is possible to calculate the interplanar distance d using the Bragg's equation. Let us see here the Bragg's equation: n lambda equal to 2d sine theta. N lambda, it is equal to 2d sine theta, where n is the order of reflection. Okay, and theta, it is a glancing angle theta. So theta is known here, n is known here, order of reflection, first order, second order, wavelength of the X-ray is known here. So we can calculate this. Okay, we can calculate this d, distance between the two planes. So we can write the equation here. You can see d, suppose distance between the two planes. So it is equal to d, it is equal to, okay, so it is equal to n lambda upon 2 sine theta. N lambda upon 2 sine theta. In this way we can measure the distance between the two planes, that is interplanar distances. Okay, suppose that it is 100 plane, it 100 s2 110 s2 111, so can be calculated then by the type of the cubic lattice. The lattice can be assigned to the crystal, okay, according to this ratio d110 s2 d11 d100 s2 d110. This d110 can be determined using this. Okay, so in this way the crystal structure can be determined by this method. Okay, so this is about the X-ray spectrometer. With the help of the X-ray spectrometer we can determine the crystal structure of sodium chloride or potassium chloride particularly. Okay,